Hey, good morning, everybody. So I'm back out here in the desert. It's a Saturday morning. The family went ahead and finished up the LJ's insulation, so the inside of the Jeep, and they got both coats down. They actually, kind of lesson learned is apparently the when they're spraying it, they needed a little bit more. So the 2 gallons, although with the sound dampening, was able to go ahead and complete it with a little bit extra. The insulation was actually a little bit shy, so that it could have been a little bit of user error. But just know that at least so far, it appears that the insulation might need a little bit more than the sound dampening. But anyways, let me show you what it looks like. All right, here she is. So let's get a couple of views here real fast. So yeah, I mean, it just looks like it's just been painted over. It's been a little windy here, so it's already starting to get kind of dusty. Let's go ahead and come on around over here. So here we are at the LJ. It's looking really good. Not sure how much you're seeing necessarily in the shade with the sun not shining directly on it, but it's looking real good now. They actually, since the product went a little bit short when the other 2 gallons arrived yesterday, they went ahead and finished up this section. So I'm going to go a little light on this section till later in the day, but I'm going to go ahead and start pulling off the tape and everything. Yeah, then we'll start unwrapping it. And then once the sun gets a little bit higher and warms up just a little bit more, I'll go ahead and put the first coat on the hard top and on the doors. All right, let's send it. So instead of showing you necessarily doing time lapse of me taking things off, I kind of want to show you some of my mistakes and some of the things that are going well. So if you're using a razor blade to kind of remove stuff, be careful. Right. So I went a little too hard and kind of just kept going down and down. Here, as I taped, this section, I probably would have been better for me just to go ahead and take this off and tape up or foil in the holes for the screws. And then one section that seems to be doing good is wherever I have sort of a lip, like right here, and it's kind of leaning off, it comes off pretty good. However, where it's a little bit more encapsulated like this is where I'm finding I'm having to use the razor blade at. And also, at first when I was doing doing all the taping and everything, the green tape seems to do a lot better at coming off. And I mean, it did 2 things well. Number one, it stuck to the paint really well as advertised, and it seems to be a little bit stronger on pulling this stuff off. So I will say that the green tape was the basically $9.99 roll. The blue tape, it was about like, I think, your $6.99 roll. I think it's worth it to go ahead and spend on the green tape when doing this. We used the blue tape because we ran out of the green, so lesson learned on that. And then the other kind of thing I just kind of want to highlight is, I went a little lazy, so this doesn't look good as far as how I taped that off. I just kind of put something over the top of it where I should have just kind of basically got a piece of tape and circled around each one of them, so it got a little closer there. Oh well, lesson learned. Now you've learned from my mistakes, and I'm going to keep removing it. We'll show you when I'm done. All right, let's send it. All right, so I want to give you guys a quick look on how much this overspray can basically spread. Now from here to right here, my father already went and kind of cleaned some of it up, but this is probably 7 feet right here in between, and from spraying over here during a non-windy time, it still traveled. So definitely got to be careful with the overspray. Even when you think you're good, you're probably not, and be over precautious. Looks like my cousin just showed up to help. All right, see you in a minute. All right, so my cousin came through again with huge help. with the sandblaster here, just really taking this down to metal. Let me show you the reason why we are wanting to. You can see the rust spots here at the end. We're going to go ahead and basically take care of that. This was actually bleeding into the cab, and that's why my cousin actually just was like, hey, I got this. Do you want to do it? And I was like, hell yeah, let's knock it out. So thanks to my cousin, big help on that. And yep, the next step is we're going to set up to start priming and painting these pieces. All right. One of the mistakes I wanted to show you real fast is spraying white on white in the sun. It's pretty blinding, so it's kind of hard to see when you're doing the second coat if you have enough. So we actually, when I sprayed it, it actually started to be dripping in this section right here. It's where I went a little too heavy. I mean, no big deal. When we go to finish the doors, we'll go ahead and basically spray the texture on a light coat onto that section, make it look like the rest, and then, you know, that'll be a way to touch it up. But if that was my very last bit, then I would have been in bad shape. So please learn from my mistakes. So as I'm getting ready to go ahead and finish up, basically start the priming, and then gonna go ahead and paint so that it dries overnight and we can start assembling it, came across this. Now I'm gonna say it right up front, this is not consistent with the previous owner or the owners, whoever originally did all this work, but someone, I'm sure that they had doing this, didn't pull the tape off and spray painted right over it. So that's just ridiculous. I mean, this, you know, I was already glad that my cousin was able to help out because of the rust period, but then finding stuff like this, you know, this is what I'm talking about. People just not taking the time to do things right. It wasn't like this all over the place, but still, glad we caught it. All right, let's continue on with the priming and painting. All right, so we finished putting the last coat of the appliance. We used Appliance Paint, which is actually an epoxy paint for the roll cage, and so this is expected to be a lot more durable. It basically, I mean, it's the same stuff. Since you put it on appliance, you can put all different types of oils or solvents. Not that this is going to have access to that, but it does make it a little bit more washable. So went a little bit harder on the parts where the bottoms are basically at the connection points with the primer and also with the paint. And so hopefully a combination of the work that we've done today will prevent it from rusting like we had from the previous owner. Let me take you over and show you the hardtop real fast. I'm still taking off the tape and everything, so got a little bit more work to do over here and up here and down around, you know, basically the edges. But you can see that one part to where we went and, you know, I went a little too heavy and it was running and we had to kind of wipe it. You can see the texture on it now. Can't really, it's very hard to see where the where we went a little too heavy. As far as the capacity on what I ordered, so I followed explicitly the directions from, you know, measure out the cubic footage and take 40% off, and I had just enough. As a matter of fact, was able to go ahead. We did 2 coats on this. We did 2 coats on the doors and then had just a little extra, and we were actually able to get a 3rd light coat all over the hardtop, so should be in good shape. So this will basically be drying overnight and it'll be ready for install tomorrow, definitely by the time that the roll cage is done. And since I basically was hanging those parts tomorrow with the roll cage, I'm going to go ahead and basically the parts that were being suspended by the straps or by the 4x4, we're going to go ahead and take those parts off to do the little touch up and then, you know, wait the duration and start putting it together. But until then, I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. So after editing the video last night, I went ahead and decided I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and because this really signifies the end of the LizardSkin installation / application, and then in the next video we'll definitely finishing up as the final assembly and overall test where we I basically did a decibel test before we got started, and I'll do a decibel test once we get ended. So I feel like my family's coming over today, and I feel like we're going to possibly be doing some extra stuff that I want to make sure that I have that detail in there for you. If not, at least it'll just kind of separate it so you can kind of see some of the different installation steps. But anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.